Here we go down to the start-finish straight as we go to 5 red lights for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. And I think the V-Car did get a better start than the Red Bull, but can the Red Bull challenge going into turn 1? No, they can't. As we go further down the grid, we see a Sauber and a Williams going really tight there. But I think the Sauber just stays on top. But are we going to see a dive from Techby down the inside? Yes, we are, of the V-Carb and the Ferrari. Can Techby get both of them? He's still going to hold it around the outside of the V-Carb. We see the Sauber as well, trying to make a move on the Williams. The V-Carb still holds it down the inside of Techby, but I think Techby just gets a better exit out of the loop, and I think Techby is going to hold that. Yes, they do. And Asteroid has to concede from Lewis Jones. Josh Rose there, though, trying to go around the outside of the Aston Martin, and they try and get through on their teammate as well. Their teammate starting on the medium tyre, and I think they are just about going to hold that. But can the Haas get the better exit round the outside of Luffield? And I think the other Haas of Josh gets in front. Can Nardu do anything, though, as they are on the inside of the other Haas? But they just have to back out through Copse Corner. And looking further down the grid, going wide there is ICU, and that allows RevRob to get through as well. And are we going to see any of the moves being made down further down the grid? And I don't think we are. Reese down to P18 now, Stephen in P19. Let's get these things on before I forget. Are there going to be any moves being made into Stowe Corner? I don't think the top two are going to change, but we're going to see Techby dive down the inside of Asteroid there, and Techby gets the move, and again going wide there was a bit, or Nardu was going a little bit wide there. And we're going to see a dive from Josh Rose there, and I think he was thinking about it. Asteroid trying to defend off Sleek Mover, as Sleek in the V-car behind, and I think that's Tom, who had a bit of a snap and has lost a bit of exit speed, and Oliver Knott is going to try and challenge himself down the inside of Nardu, but Nardu gets the better exit and will stay in front at the moment. Can Nardu potentially look for a move on Tom Roberts, though, as we go into turn 1? A bit of contact with the Aston Martin and the Ferrari, and they've both dropped down there. I'm not really too sure who was at fault there, as I didn't really see that, but both of them ghosting through, I believe that is Cameron at the moment, or RevRob in fact, if I should say, and both of them are going to be a little bit frustrated about that. Oliver Knott on Ghost in P15, Nardu in P14. We're going to see Oliver Knott, though, dive down the inside of both of them. We're going to see him dive down the inside of the Aston Martin. Can we see Oliver Knott try to go around the outside of the McLaren? Yes, we are. Can the Ferrari hold that, though? Through Luffield and through Woodcut we go. And it's still going to remain wheel to wheel as we go into Copse Corner. Don't try it side by side through here, guys. They're going to remain at side by side. Those who see Luca and Tom Roberts there looking to go side by side. Can Oliver hold it around the outside, though? They did go side by side. Oliver has to go off the track, though. And I think he's just going to let RevRob through. But he's still going to try and fight this going into Beckett's and Beckett's. And I think RevRob just about gets the upper hand there going into Beckett's and stays in P13 at the moment. But he might be able to try and get the repass going into turn... or going into Stowe Corner, and he is going to try and fight that round the outside. And it looks like the Aston Martin is going to get in on this as well, but Nardu elects to stay behind, still side by side. And I think Oliver Knott jumps over the curbing there, and RevRob stays in front. Cameron trying to get down the inside. Jordan gets the move. Pretty good move there from the Williams. Are we going to see Techby make any dives? I don't think we are, but Josh Rose is getting really close to that Ferrari, as I think there was a little bit of bodywork or sparks flying off there. Cameron going around the inside of Tom Roberts and gets that move pretty nicely as well, has to be said. Tom Roberts down to P11. Are we going to see Oliver Knott, though, dive down the inside of RevRob going into turn 1, and they are still going to remain at wheel to wheel. And he now has the outside for turn 2. He's going to keep it down the inside going into turn 3. And I have to say that was a pretty clean and committed overtake there from Oliver Knott to get into P13. Next driver on the radar is BRT Jordan. Reese as well going around the inside of Stephen. Stephen trying to hold it around the outside of the Alpine, though. And it's going to be a drag race down into turn... going down into turn 6. Nardu, I think, was trying to defend off RevRob, but Stephen gets up into P17. Sleek making a move on Asteroid there, though. Down the inside, Asteroid is going to try and fight this. And it's still going to remain wheel to wheel, but Asteroid just gets the wheel there. And we are going to see Oliver Knott try to hold down the inside of BRT Jordan there, side by side. And into turn 3 we go now. Is Oliver Knott going to hold the inside? Yes, he is. Can Jordan look for the switchback, though? And he is still going to have the outside for turn 4 through the loop. And it's still going to remain wheel to wheel. And we also see a Mercedes of Stephen going up the inside of I think that's actually of Jordan. And let's see what is going to transpire with this battle. Oliver gets through there. It was actually a RevRob, my mistake, but Stephen gets in front because Jordan was battling with Oliver Knott. So I don't really know how my brain even thought it was Jordan. It's still going to remain wheel to wheel. Can we see Lewis Jones try and make a switch back in? No, we are not. And Richards holds the lead, but they are so close. literally front end plate to rear wing. Can we see Lewis go around the outside of both of them? He's around the outside of one. Can he get around the outside of two? And I think the other Red Bull is going to try and get in on this as well. And look at Techby down the inside of all four of them. What is going on here? But despite that, Lewis comes out in front. Richards is going to try and hold it down the inside going into turn 4. And they are literally 5 abreast pretty much going into the next few corners. Lewis is able to get into the lead of the race. Richards in P2. Can we see Luca go down the inside of both of them? Down the inside, yes he is. The Alpine now into the lead of the race. Richards down to P2. Lewis Jones going to try and hold it around the outside of Techby. Techby holds it down the inside of Luffield. And through Woodcut we go. It's going to be a drag race between these two. Who is going to come out on top? Is it going to be the Sauber? Is it going to be the Ferrari? And the Sauber just gets in front. Cameron down to P5, Leo down to P6, and they're still not finishing the top half. Jones trying to go down the inside of Luca. Are we going to see that move being stick? And we are going to see Cameron try to go down around the outside of Techby. Techby dives it down the inside of the Alpine. And around the outside, Techby is going to try and fight this, but I think he has just been able to stay in P4. Luca is able to stay in P3, and Cameron gets the move on Techby as well. Techby down to P5, and the Sauber is in the lead of the race. Sleek, having a bit of contact there with Josh Rose. Tom Roberts, sorry, not Josh Rose. And I think Rev Rob was involved in that. Has to spin in sympathy. Or was that Jordan? It was Jordan, in fact. As we're going to see the Williams of Cameron there, diving down the inside of the Sauber. The Sauber going a little bit wide into Luffield, and that will allow the Williams to get through there. Nicely done from Cameron. But will we see Lewis Jones try and make a repass going into Cup's corner? And he is getting close. Is he going to stick his nose down the inside? He thought about it, but he's also going to be overtaken by Leo there in the V-carb. Spots the mistake around the outside. Techby tries to go down the inside of the Sauber, but the Sauber just managing to stay in front there. That was very committed from the Sauber. As you're going to see Luca get back into the lead of the race. Techby dives it down the inside of the Sauber. Can he make this move stick? He tried it through Cup's corner, didn't really work. And can Techby get his wheel around the outside? And he is going to hold it, but the Sauber makes a little bit of a mistake trying to make the move on Cameron. And Techby still has the inside, and gets through on the Sauber. Are we going to see Nardu now try and make a move down the inside? No, we are not. Nardu just a bit too far back to make the move on this time around. And I think Lewis Jones now is going to try and have to defend off Nardu. Nardu holds around the outside going into Village and through the loop, and Nardu gets the move, and Mattia Manga and Stephen also having a bit of a fight there. Stephen holding down the inside to get into P8 this will be. Mattia Manga has the outside, but Stephen has the inside going into Brooklands, and Stephen gets the move. But will we see a switch back from Mattia Manga? Yes, we are. Mattia Manga still trying to fight this round the outside of the Mercedes. But the Mercedes just gets in front, maybe opening up the space for Leo, but managing to stay behind. And now he's going to try and fight down the inside of the Williams, going into Brooklands, and gets the move on the Williams. But the Williams is still going to be there around the outside. And can Luca hold this of Cameron? And it's going to be wheel to wheel through Woodcut, and it is going to be a side by side moment into Cops, I think. And who's going to be the better out of this one? And I think it's just going to be Luca. Look at the amazing speed they took through there. Nardo also getting through on Techby. And now can Luca get the move on Richards here, maybe going into Stowe Corner. Through Chapel we go now. DRS is obviously going to be enabled. Richards put into the inside, trying to break the toe a little bit. Now we're going to see Cameron try and make a move here. Luca to the inside of the Red Bull and gets back into the lead of the race. As I predicted, Cameron is also going to try and fight this on the Red Bull. We'll have the outside, but Richards dives down the inside of the Alpine to try and get back into the lead going into Vale, but isn't able to. And it's now going to be side by side with that Williams, and the Williams gets in front as Reese gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to come back to haunt him towards the end of the race as he comes in for his pit stop. As we are going to see Oliver Knott try to go around the outside of Mattia Manga there. And we did see this coming a little bit, but Oliver not able to get the move. But with the DRS, is he going to be able to do it going into Brooklands? The Red Bull is going to be holding the inside line there. Can Oliver hold it around the outside? No, he can't, as we are going to see a bit of battling at the front. Look at Techby. He's going to try to go down the inside of two. Only gets the move on Nardu, and Nardu is going to try and fight this back around the outside. We're going to ride on board with Techby, and it's going to be side by side into Cup's corner. Ryder going to keep this clean. And Techby doesn't. well, Nardu goes off the track there and comes back out in front of Techby. Sleek also in the pits as well. ICU had a spun there out of the final corner, or out of Stowe corner by the seams of it. He comes in as well. And then he goes into the barrier. Okay. As Maxim now gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. So that is also going to come back to haunt him. Stephen still having a bit of a battle with Oliver Knott here. Josh Rose as well on the outside. He's going to have the inside for Luffield. Gets tapped a little bit by Lewis Jones. And Lewis Jones basically punting him out the way a little bit. He's still going to try and fight this down the inside going into Cup's corner. Lewis Jones on the inside, and he easily gets through for the corner. Josh Rose, who had to make that early stop onto the medium tyres, is now starting to feel the effect of that as Asteroid gets through as well. As we are going to see these top drivers pitting in. Nardu now gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and I don't know what it is with these top drivers not being able to slow down before the pit lane. Luca is currently making his way to the pit exit. Oliver gets through on Tom there, down the inside going into the corner. And I think Stephen is going to try and find his way down the inside as well. Yes, he does. Oliver Knott gets into the lead. Stephen into P2. And we're going to see Mattia Manga emerge in P9. Cameron in P10. And I think that is Reese trying to make a move on Cameron there. Going down the inside of the loop into Aintree. Cameron stays in P10. As I think that is Josh Rose trying to make a move on Mattia Manga, or Mattia Manga, sorry, making the move on Josh Rose into P8 now. Rich is now trying to go around the outside, has the inside into Luffield, but gets through on Reese there. And I assume there's going to be a lot of changes in this back half of the field. Leo now trying to make a move around the outside of Reese and gets that move. Josh Rose and Cameron going side by side through Cops there, as Cameron will get marginally ahead out of Cops and will stay in P9 as we go into Maggots and Beckett's. As Asteroid there gets a bit, gets ghosted there, and I think that was Luca who had to cut the track there. He is going to emerge behind them, and he is going to go down the middle of both of them. Can only make the overtake on Tom though. Can he get the move on Lewis? As we see Asteroid now getting the move on Mattia Manga, and Tom is also going to try and make a move on Revrop, but not able to. Mattia Manga now has the inside going into Vale and gets the move done. Cameron also going down the inside of Tom Roberts. Tom Roberts down to P9 now. Leo now trying to defend himself off one of the Hasses, whichever one it is, and now has the inside of Tom Roberts and gets that move stick. Will he also try and make a move around the inside of the Red Bull? No, he doesn't. The Red Bull covers it off, and I think that is a bit of a snap I think Nardu got, as Nardu tries to go around the outside. Techby trying to stick his nose down the inside of Tom and gets the snap of Overseer. Nardu will retake that P14 spot. And Techby now into P13. Will Techby look for a move on the Haas? No, he won't. But Nardu is going to still try and fight this down the inside of the Ferrari. Bit of contact. And that is Tom who has spun there. As Nardu still tries to hold it around the outside of the Ferrari. And gets into P12 there. Cameron looking to also make a move on Revrop down the inside. Jordan gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Around the outside. Cameron is still going to try and fight this. And also gets the move on Revrop. Nicely done. Are we going to see Mattia Manga now try and make an overtake? We are going to see Riches and Asteroid going side by side here. We're also going to see Nardu and Techby go a little bit side by side there as Nardu gets into P11. Revrob and Mattia Manga still fighting this into Luffield. Revrob having the inside, Mattia Manga having the outside, and I think Revrob is just about going to stay in front. Are we going to see any of the moves being made? We're going to see Stephen once again going down the inside. And gets into the lead. Oh, Luca getting really close to the rear end of that Ferrari, but Cameron is still going to try and fight this down the inside of the Alpine. Oh, it's Reihard's, isn't it? I just realised. Oh, yeah, I got stick in the last commentary I did with him, didn't I? And Oliver Knott goes down the inside of the Mercedes, but unable to make that move stick. Luca also trying to make an overtake on Cameron, as I think Oliver Knott is still going to try and fight this. And look at Luca. He's gone down the inside of the Ferrari and gets into P2. Oliver's gone wide. That allows Cameron to get through. Can Lewis Jones get in on this as well? Not able to into the final corner, though, although we are going to see a four-wide battle here, involving Mattia Manga, Revrop, Nardu and Techby. Still side by side between Mattia Manga and Techby. RevRob, sorry, as RevRob dives it back down the inside. It's gonna take me a while to get used to seeing THB not in the McLaren, as Nardo also gets down the inside of RevRob as well and gets into P9. THB is now going to be the next driver to try and make an overtake, as he's going to go down the inside of the McLaren and also the Red Bull potentially as well. Round the outside, he's going to have to try and make it on Mattia Manga. Is he going to get the better exit out of Luffield? Yes, he does. Up to P9 for THB. Leo also trying to defend off Reihards there. No, actually might have been from Lewis Jones. Around the outside, LUCA is going to try and find it on the Mercedes. And he just get the better exit, but can he hold it? I think Steven is burning a little bit to stay in front. He's actually in the medium. LUCA is burning a little bit, but has to back out. And it's going to be side by side between LUCA and Cameron. No contact, but LUCA stays in front. Oliver Knott is also getting in on this as well. He's going to go around the outside of Lewis Jones. We'll have the inside for the second corner into the third and fourth one. And I think Oliver Knott is just going to be able to hold on to that. Yes, he does. Lewis Jones is still going to try and fight this, but Reihards is going to be there on the inside. Can Reihards find it? No, he doesn't, as Lewis now pulls to the inside to try and make an overtake on the Ferrari. And the Sauber there pushing the Red Bull of Reihards off there. Reihards is going to try and retaliate to retake it down the inside. And he's going to pull to the inside of the Ferrari as well, going into Vale and into Club. And Oliver Knott just stays in front at the moment. And Reihards will stay in P6, but we're going to see Leo try to go down the inside. Reihards now down the inside of the Sauber. Can Reihards get into P5? No, he can't. Will he find an overtake going into turn 3, though? Yes, he will, as he spins the Sauber around, and that is so unfortunate. That is going to be a penalty coming his way, as Leo now gets the repass into P5, but Reihards gets the switch back. Can he stay in P5? No, he can't. But Nardo is going to retake it down the inside, I think, as you're going to see a battle at the front. I think that's Cameron trying to make a move on LUCA, as the Aston Martin now gets spun a little bit by the Red Bull, and THB gets into P7 now. Steven there gets a 3-second, and that might just have ruined his chances at getting this win today. It's currently LUCA in basically P1 to get the win with time penalties, and LUCA is going to fight it around the outside to get the move on the Mercedes. It's still going to be wheel to wheel though. Stephen holds it in P1. Oliver Knott tries to go around the outside. Gets into P3. Can he make the move on LUCA? He goes a little bit wide into Club Corner. And that is going to allow Cameron to get down the inside. And will get into P3 presumably. But the Ferrari is still going to try and fight this round the outside. Has the inside for turn 2. Into turn 3. Oliver is going to break latest, but it is going to be Cameron who forces him wide a little bit. The Ferrari dives it back down the inside, but the Williams gets a much better exit round the outside and stays in P3. Are we going to see Leo now try and make an overtake on the Ferrari? Down the inside is going to go into Brooklands. Is he going to be able to stay in front? And I think he does just about gets into P4 at the moment, but we are going to see Reihardt now trying to go around the outside of one of the Ferraris of Oliver Knott. At least the two Ferraris now are together, so they can potentially try and work together a little bit. But Reihardt will stay in P5 at the moment. Mattia Manga also making a move on Asteroid there, as Lewis gets another 3-second penalty. And Mattia Manga is still going to try and fight with Asteroid into Magnussen Beckett. So close to contact, and I think Asteroid just gets in front there. Mattia Manga in P11, RevRob P12. So yeah, not really looking good for RevRob, but that's Asteroid having to cut the corner there. Gets a 3-second penalty in doing so. And both of those two get through of RevRob and Mattia Manga. Tom Roberts now getting the fastest lap of the race. Oliver having a bit of a battle with Nardo, as Nardo holds it around the outside, and that's going to allow Lewis as well to get down the inside of one. Can he get the inside of the Aston Martin again, pushing the Aston Martin up a little bit, and he stays in P8 at the moment. As Cameron looks to go down the inside of LUCA there, but has a bit of contact in that it isn't able to make that move stick. Leo now trying to go down the inside, cannot make the move on the Williams, but has a bit of contact with Reihardt, so that allows THB to get into P5. Nardi now is going to fight with Reihardt going into Brooklands, but Reihardt stays behind, but then Nardi gets back down the inside of the Red Bull and gets into P6, but it's still going to be side by side into Luffield, and through Woodcut we go. And it's still going to be wheel to wheel into Copse Corner. So it's going to be a Red Bull and an Aston Martin, but I think the Aston Martin just has to stay behind on this time around. As we go onto the main straight, LUCA now burning, and LUCA is already pulling to the outside and will easily get into the lead of the race. Are we going to see Cameron go around the outside of the Mercedes as well? Yes, we are. But the Mercedes, is still going to try and fight it down the inside. Has a bit of a snap. That's going to leave him vulnerable now to Leo, as Leo now goes around the outside of the Mercedes and gets into the lead. Can Techby also make the move? No, he can't. But LUCA is going to come across the final line to win the Silverstone Grand Prix. Cameron takes P2. Leo finishes in P3 with Techby in P4. It didn't look good for Techby at some point, but we'll have to settle for P4. Reihardt's in P5. Stephen in P6 at the end of that. Mattia Mega will then finish in P7. But the biggest story here, LUCA in the Alpine will break the McLaren win streak and will not make it 5 out of 5 for McLaren. It's going to be 1-2 Alpine this weekend from starting pretty much at the back of the grid. Driver of the day, rightfully so, and breaks the McLaren win streak. Rev Rob finishing in P8 there with Lewis Jones in P9. Sleek will then finish in P10 with Oliver Knott in P11. Josh Rose in P12, Nardo P13, Asteroid in P14 with Reese in P15. Tom Roberts, without unfortunate contact, finishes in P16. And then the non-finishers, BRT Jordan in P17, Maxim in P18, and then ICU in P19.